So I've just finished putting up my beam frame, and that's my gardening hour for the week in the kitchen garden. I try and keep my workload here as low as absolutely possible, because really this is the place I like to come and relax, whereas I do most of my work on the allotment. So yeah, let's take a look round, see what's going on. Most things are good, a few little problems. So down here I've got a few brassicas in pots, a few wild strawberries, little apple tree, some cabbages. These beds are going to be lettuces, spinach, and I'm not sure yet. I've got my peas here. I think this is my fifth succession of peas. I've got so many peas on the go. They just climb up here underneath these strawberry hanging baskets. And all these beds were in production all the way through winter. They all had colettes in them down here, so I've only just cleared them off. I do just put this a little bit of net here. If the kids are playing ball games, then it just keeps the balls off the veggies, and it also just keeps the birds off. You know, they like to rummage around in the compost looking for worms and digging up the plants at the same time. So I've got a few beetroot there interplanted with salad onions and my overwintering onions. A bit behind the ones on the allotment actually, but I'm sure they'll soon catch up. Then if we just pop over to this side, I've got my main spinach bed. Just taking all the spinach out now on the allotment, and so I'll be switching over to this. And this is the lettuce bed I'm switching over to, in theory. I've just lost another lettuce. I think I've got cutworm in this bed. That's the third lettuce that I've lost in the last few days. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. And I've got some strawberries, a few shallots. Lettuce beds are looking really nice, apart from the losses. Got a nice little cherry tree there, grapevine at the back there. Just got my yacon tubers just starting to sprout, which is great. Got to get those potted up. And nectarine tree, apricot tree there, and then just behind you there in that corner I've got my green garlic and my little hardening off bench. So I've got some spinach, some lettuces, and some cabbages there. I mean, they're not hardening off, it's just it was a bit too hot for those in the greenhouse. And I do put ceiling trays up on the top of the wall as well, and that's really convenient. Back of the garden is mainly my fruit area, so I've got strawberries here, some herbs there, just a few huge kale plants there that just keeping us going until new season kales are ready. Then we've got the blueberries all the way down here, main crop onions there, which are a bit floppy. I've just taken the covers off them, and so I'm hoping they're going to pick up soon. I've got my raspberries there, more blueberries there, cherries, and that's about it. I've got, yeah, a little patio there. And I mentioned my beam frame. I really like this beam frame. The canes just push into the floor, and then this is kind of like my universal vertical growing space. I've got my hanging baskets, as I said, peas that I grow through the strings, and I've also got hooks up at the top to tie the canes to. I just pop the beans in between the canes, and still got most of the beds available for planting, so it works quite nicely. And then I've got a few hanging baskets up here. Oh, and I've got these potatoes, these are nice. So yeah, I just took the shoots off last year's potatoes that were sprouting and planted those up, and I've got these really nice little potato plants now, so I'm going to try potting those up and see what sort of harvest we get from those. And then these are the early peas. Got loads and loads of peas. We've been eating these now for a few weeks. That one's looking a bit scrappy, that's the oldest one, so that'll be finishing soon, and this one's just coming on stream. So let's have a look in the greenhouse. This greenhouse is kind of my pride and joy, and it's looking really nice. So I've done a detailed video going through what's in here, so I'm going to really just skim through. I'm going to sort of start at the top. So we've got on the shelves things like the melons, the aubergines, a few beetroots, things like that. Then strawberries in the hanging baskets. They're looking absolutely great this year, really lovely. And then we've got tomatoes in the hanging baskets. They've got a lot of fruit on them now and a lot of flowers. So yeah, I'm expecting quite a lot of tomatoes in here by certainly the sort of third week in May, something like that. Then here we've got all of the peppers, the early peppers. I've got 36 peppers on the allotment as well, but it's nice to have a few early ones. And then I've got some more peppers down here and some courgettes and cucumbers. We are harvesting a lot of cucumbers at the moment. In fact, the cucumber harvest on its own easily pays for the heating of the greenhouse. So I do heat it to about 14-15 degrees centigrade at night, but actually most of the time it heats itself. It's got a stone floor, it's got a brick dwarf wall. Those get really nice and warm during the day. Well, it's a bit chilly today actually, but normally nice and warm. And then they just release obviously that heat all the way through the night. So it generally heats itself, but occasionally I need to provide a little bit of a boost, and I've got a little fan heater there that does that job. And I've got another fan heater down there that's not on heating setting. That's normally just blowing air around the greenhouse all the time. Although I do normally just leave the doors open during the day. So we get a lot of pollinators in here, a lot of predators in here, and that does most of the pest control. I'm going to take the courgettes out next week to give myself a bit of space, and then yeah, just sort of fingers crossed for those. But I think it's going to be about 9-10 degrees centigrade at night after the middle of next week, so should be okay. I've got another big courgette there, and I've got my French beans here. They're right up at the top at the moment, so I need to just pinch those out, or maybe train them across here. I think I might train them across there. And then I've got 3 cucumber plants in troughs. That one's looking extremely unhealthy. So I think I'll be taking that one out, but the other one's looking quite nice down there. And I say I've got did I say it already? I've got tomatoes in containers in the corners there. I've got 3, I've got space for 2. One of them's going to go where one of these courgettes is, so it can grow up here into the roof. And the others will stay there. And they've got lots of fruit on them as well. So we're looking forward to those, because they are honeycomb and sun gold. They're the sweetest, loveliest tomatoes. And that is pretty much it. I've got my peppers that are just waiting to go out, and brassicas that are just waiting to go out, tomatoes which are waiting to go out. Yeah, everything's just waiting to go out really. So let's just quick take a look at the drive and our little potager front garden. So we try to make good use of the drive. We've got quite a lot of trees down here. It looks a bit scrappy, but it's not too bad. Yeah, so we've got plum, apple, cherry, pear. These are meant to be early cabbages, early red cabbages, but these have gone a bit crazy. The ones on the allotment are fine. It's not shade because they weren't always here. They were in the kitchen garden proper. But anyway, I've kind of left them just going because they do look really nice. And maybe I'll get some small cabbages. But anyway, thankfully, as I said, the ones on the allotment are looking fine. Last few potatoes down here, still to harvest. You can see they're all growing, but they're all fine. Still nice quality. And let's look at the potager. So I do love this little garden. We've got celeriac, kales, loads of herbs, apple, gooseberries, gooseberries all over the place. Celery, shallots, dwarf French beans, cabbages, leeks, and herbs like scattered everywhere. A few more gooseberries there. So that's me done. My name's Steve, and yeah, if you want to know anything more about the way that I garden, just take a look in the description. There's loads of links down there to my ebook, to my gardening newsletter, etc., etc. I'll see you soon.